Chakshurmilitam Tasmai Shri Gurudeva Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram First of all, I offer my most respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my Diksha Guru, Om Vishnupad Asto Tarasata Shishma, Srila Govinda Goswami Maharaj. Again, I offer my most respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my Sannyasa Shiksha Guru, Om Vishnupad Asto Tarasata Shishma, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudeva Ki. And again, my most respectful obeisances onto the lotus feet of my Param Gurudevs, Nitya Leela Pavishto Vishnupad Asto Tarasata Shishma, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and Nitya Leela Pavishto Vishnupad Asto Tarasata Shishma, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. And I offer my most respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So, last few days, we've been speaking on Jagannath Rath Yatra. And in Jagannath Puri, it's the 4th day of the Rath Yatra. Lord Jagannath, he has left the Jagannath Mandir, and now he is in Gundicha Mandir. So in brief, I explained the history of Neil Madhav. Many of you weren't here Friday. Neil Madhav. I explained that there was a king called Indradyumna Maharaj over 2 million years ago. And he wanted to take darshan, get the audience of this deity of Neil Madhav. But Neil Madhav disappeared. But Neil Madhav came to him in a voice and told him that I will appear again in 4 forms: Jagannath, Baladeva, Subhadra, and Sudarshan. He appeared to Indradyumna Maharaj, and Indradyumna Maharaj, he had the deities carved. One Brahmin came and said, 21 days you give me, you close the door, you don't come in. But after 14 days, no sound could be heard, no hammer and chisel. His wife, Indradyumna Maharaj's wife, said, he hasn't eaten or drunk anything for 14 days. He may be dead. Open the door. Indradyumna Maharaj, he said, no, we shouldn't open. Queen said, if you don't open, you'll be guilty of this person being killed, and it'll be on your head. And she forced him to open the door. And when he opened the door, that Brahmana had vanished, disappeared, and instead there was the carved deities, but not finished, of Jagannath, Baladeva, and Subhadra. He was lamenting, why did I open the door? Now the deity is not finished. You see Jagannath in his form there on top of the rath cart, very big eyes, his hands not finished, his legs not finished, and his brother and sister same. But the voice came, and Neil Madhav, Jagannath said, it is my desire, I want to be worshipped in this form. So you install me in the temple. He installed Jagannath, Baladeva, Subhadra, and from that time, every year, the Jagannath Rath Yatra festival has been going on till today. I told another story, a more esoteric story, that Krishna, he left Vrindavan when he was 11 years and 8 months. He went to Mathura, then he went to Dwarka. Then he got married to 16,108 queens. But even though he was in Dwarka, he was a king. He had all royal paraphernalia. And his queens were the most beautiful ladies in the universe. Their qualities were unsurpassed. They were dressed exquisitely. Their cooking was super excellent. But still, Krishna was not happy there. When Krishna was sleeping at night, his pillow would be drenched with tears. And he was calling, Hey Sudam, Hey Vasudam, Hey Sridam, calling out for his friends, calling out for his mother, Ha Meya, Hey Meya, Hey Baba, calling out for Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, calling out for his cows, Kalindi, Tungi, and calling out for the gopis, Hey Radhe, Hey Lalite, Hey Vishake. He was sleeping right next to his queens, but he was calling out the names of the maidservants of Vrindavan, and he was soaking his pillow and also drenching his queens with his tears of Vrindavan. And the queens were wondering, what is the love of the gopis? We've given him everything, and our beauty is unsurpassed. And they're just village girls. How can these village girls occupy his mind? It must be that they know some magic, and they've done some magic and bewildered his mind. One day, Narada Muni came. And Narada Muni, he said, Oh Rukmini, Krishna loves you queens the most. You're the most dear to Krishna. And Rukmini said, no, you're playing with us. You're, what's the word? Sarcasm? You're being sarcastic. You know that his love is for the gopis. He does not even think about us. He's always crying for the gopis. And then at that time, then Rukmini, the first queen, she asked the mother Balaram, Mother Rohini, what is the love of the Brijvasis? Why is it that Krishna, he becomes so captivated, so controlled by their love? Rohini said, I can tell you, but only us ladies should hear. No men should come. So they sent Krishna's sister to the door. You guard the door and make sure nobody comes in, especially Krishna and Balaram. Because once this Harikatha goes, wherever there's Harikatha coming from pure devotees, Krishna, he comes. So Subhadra was standing guard. And Rohini, I explained in detail in Murari Gupta Prabhu's place. Was it your place I explained this? Yeah. She described the very sweet pastimes of Krishna as a young boy, Makucho. That he was always stealing butter and yogurt from the neighboring houses. And sometimes one of the ladies, the elderly gopis, they would catch Krishna, Gopal, and say, hey Gopal, you're a chore, you're a thief. Why are you stealing makan? Why are you stealing butter? And then Gopal would look in the eyes of the lady, the gopi, and just looking into her eyes, he would go into her heart, and her heart would melt, and say, oh Maya, oh mother, are you not my mother? Is this not my house? And then her hands would just loosen, tears flowing from her eyes, milk flowing from her breast. Gopal would run away. Another time, another gopi would catch Gopal. Hey Gopal, I've caught you. What are you doing with your hand in the pot? Gopal said, I'm looking for my cow. You're looking for your cow in the pot? Show me. He said, oh Maya, oh mother, then let my hand go so I can show you. And then he would go like this, and then he'd pull out a marble calf. Said, you see? The gopis went and complained to Mother Yashoda. Said, your son is a thief. You better what? Take care of him. Train him. Because when he grows up, he's only stealing butter now. But if he keeps this mood, when he grows up, then what kind of thief he'll be? Better catch him when he's young. So Mother Yashoda is wondering, what is the problem? Maybe because my servants are making the yogurt, it's not so sweet. I'll make myself. So one time, so she told the ladies, gopis, that next time you catch him, you bring him to me. So another time, Gopal was with his friends in the courtyard of a gopi, and she caught him. Said, Gopal, I caught you, I'm taking you to Yashoda. Gopal started to look in her eyes. She said, Gopal, don't look at me. Because you know, if Gopal looks at her, she's finished. Said, I'm taking you. And then she's taking Gopal, and then she's covering Gopal with her cloth, and going. And then, when she gets to the house of Mother, she says, Hey Yashoda! Hey Yashoda! I've caught Gopal! I've caught him! And then Mother Yashoda came out with so many other ladies, gopis. Because they're always in the courtyard of Gopal with Mother Yashoda, and what they're doing, they're only just speaking Harikatha and remembering Gopal, and tears flowing from their eyes. They're singing Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. When Mother Yashoda said, oh, you called Gopal? Okay, bring him, bring him. And then she brought the boy, and then when she removed her cloth, then who was there? Her own son. She said, oh really? How possible? And then all the ladies said, ah, you called Gopal, that's your own son. And then Gopal came from his room, rubbing his eyes. Oh Maya, oh mother, why are you making so much noise? You woke me up. What happened? Then when Mother Yashoda told, say, you see, they're always falsely accusing me, calling me a thief, this, that. I'm innocent, but now I'll steal. I must steal. I'll show them. And then he storms up. In this way, Gopal's fallen so many beautiful pastimes. When he grows up, he's stealing so many things. He steals the hearts of the gopis. He's stealing the hearts of the gopis. So, Mother Rohini, she's describing all these beautiful pastimes, and she, remembering Vrindavan and remembering the love of Vrindavan, she just started to cry. Her heart melted, and she was just crying and crying and crying. The queens, they became stunned. Subhadra, who was guarding, in the meantime, Krishna and Balaram, they came, and they said, oh, can we go in? Subhadra said no. Mother Rohini said that no male people can enter, especially you two. So then they stood on either side. Jagannath on one side, Baladeva on the other side. And when they were hearing these sweet pastimes, how Krishna, in the autumn season, in the full moon night, he played his flute because his heart was crying for the association of his devotees. And that flute sound, it entered into the houses where some gopis, they were feeding their husbands. And when the flute sound entered into their ears, they just dropped the plates and they ran. Some, they were putting on their clothes. Then they put on the top clothes on the bottom and the bottom on the top. They ran. Some, they were putting on their kajal, makeup. And when that entered, it entered into the doorway of their ears. And going into the doorway of their ears, then they had an inner courtyard of their heart. It entered into the inner courtyard of their heart. And in that courtyard there's a treasure chest of their love. And it entered in there and just stole everything. And started to return to the forest of Krishna. And all the gopis were running and running and running to see Krishna. Krishna, when they came, he was standing very meekishly. And he said, oh, why have you come? Said it's very dark. It's midnight. You've left your husbands. The gopis thought he was playing. Said you should go back home right away. said that the duty of a wife is that she should always be with her husband in all situations. And she should never leave her husband. Then the gopis, they took heart. They said, "Oh Krishna, we've heard that one's first duty is to serve the Guru. And because you're giving us instructions, you're Guru. And because you're Guru, we've come to serve you, and you must give us service." And being defeated, then Krishna, he started to dance with the gopis. 3 billion gopis. And one Krishna was dancing in between all 3 million gopis. At that time, Mother Rohini, remembering these pastimes, then she fainted. Krishna, he was standing at the door, and Mahabhav Prakash, he manifested symptoms of ecstasy. His eyes became so big. His hands went into his body. His legs went into the body. And so did Baladeva, his brother, and Subhadra. And they were just stunned like that. After some time, they came back to their external senses, and their bodies came back to their natural forms. And all the queens inside, they understood that Krishna and Baladeva were outside. Narada Muni, he was inside. He was the only male person. And then Narada was feeling, "Oh, look what I've done. I've caused a big thing." And then Krishna said, "I'm very happy with you. I'm very, very happy that you've inspired me to hear about my Vrindavan and my devotees. So please, you ask any benediction and I will give it to you." And then Narada Muni, he asked that this form that you've manifested, this form of love, Radha Vidura Prem, that form of Krishna swimming in the ocean of separation of love from Radharani, may you manifest this form in this world so that all can worship. And may your brother and sister also be with you. And Krishna said, "Tathastu. Because you have asked, I will manifest this form." So he manifested that form in Jagannath Puri. And this time, every year, he comes out and he gives all the world his darshan, his audience. And by the potency of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, then Jagannath is meant. We have this festival in all the major cities in the world. LA, not Montgomery. Not yet. Not yet. Maybe they have. They were having same time in Lagos, Mexico, Russia, China, New York, everywhere. And whoever comes and witnesses this festival, then their path to liberation and their path to serve Radha and Krishna, it becomes open. Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Ju. So, what is the meaning of this festival? What is the meaning of Jagannath Rath Yatra? Actually, when it first started, there was one chariot, and the 3 deities were in that chariot, and they would go on the procession from Jagannath Temple for 4 miles to Gundicha. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the combination of Radha and Krishna. So when he came 500 years ago, then he opened everybody's eyes to the inner conception of Rath Yatra. Previously, it was not known by the general mass. That he had 3 chariots. One for Baladeva first, then Subhadra second, and then last Jagannath. Why? I'll explain on Tuesday in Bhakti. There's another pastime. I'll explain it. Time. So when Jagannath comes out, Jagannath is so big. How big is he? 10, 15 foot high? And then his crown is about 7 foot high. And so many big Daitas, devotees. They come and they're big pillows, and they come and they like this, and then when he goes on the pillow, poof, and then next pillow, poof, and then they very painstakingly they carry him up on that chariot, and sometimes it takes them days to carry him just on the chariot. And then first chariot, Baladeva, Subhadra, and then Jagannath. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had 7 parties of kirtaniers. 4 in the front with 10 madangas each party. 10 madangas. Was it 7? 7 madangas? Okay. 7 madangas. Are you sure? 7? So, anyway, whatever. So then he would have another party on the right hand side, 1 on the left, 4, 5, 6, and then 3 in the back. 4, 5, 6. And then 3 parties in the back. And they will go in the procession. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath. Go, go. So like this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, can you hear me? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had the devotees chanting, and then they're pulling the rope. And even back during the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 4-5 million people would come for Jagannath Rath Yatra. It became such a huge festival every year. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you can see here tears are shooting out of his eyes like syringes, like water coming from syringes. Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's Krishna. He's that same Sham complexion, black Krishna, but now coming with the mood of Radharani. Her mood is Mahabhav, and the color of Mahabhav is gold. So since that molten gold color from her heart, it's manifested and covered her body. And when he begged, borrowed, or stole that mood from her heart, then his body also became covered with a golden hue. So he's in the Rath Yatra, and he's in the mood of Radharani. Though he's Krishna, but he's so absorbed in that mood of Radharani that he has completely adopted that bhav, that mood. And when he's seeing Jagannath, he's not seeing that Jagannath has big eyes, his hands shrunken like this. No, he's seeing that, oh, this is Shyam Sundar Krishna. He's seeing, even when they bring Jagannath out for Rath Yatra, they bring him out with peacock feather and flute. And they bring a flute. Gurudev, he said there. So, not that he's on the cart with it, but they bring it out. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is singing, but he cannot. We're singing Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra, but his voice is choking from the love in his heart, and he's going Jaga, 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 and just going Jaga, 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 Jaga. Then the love from his heart is like a spray, and it just completely envelops all the devotees, and all the devotees are just dancing and crying. They're jumping like so high in the air, dancing, crying, rolling on the ground, and going on the procession. So what is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he started to sing one song, but this song was it was not coming from any scripture, but rather it was like a local song, just a local mundane song. And the song was that now I'm meeting you here again on the banks of the Radha River, which is in South India, in this Batasi forest, a forest of cane trees. But I'm not happy here. No, now that I'm meeting you here again, that I want to take you back to the bank of the Radha River by the Vatasi forest, the cane forest. That there I feel pleasure, but here I don't feel any pleasure. So what was the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was singing like this? That basically we go back to Krishna Lila. That when Krishna finished his pastimes in Vrindavan when he was 12 years old, he went to Mathura and then he went to Dwarka. And when he went to Dwarka, he got married to 16,108 queens. And he was able to be with each queen simultaneously. But he was not happy, as we explained before. Then one time, there was a solar eclipse that was going to come. And the culture is that during the time of solar eclipse or lunar eclipse, if you live by the Ganges or any holy water, you go and take bath at that time. Or you stay indoors and you chant Hare Krishna to counteract the effect of the eclipse. So Krishna's family members in Dwarka, they all decided that they would go to a special place, Kurukshetra, and they would take bath there. And then so many different kings and people from so many different kingdoms, they all decided also that they would go to this very place on the day of the solar eclipse, and they would all observe together. Word got to Vrindavan, to Nanda Maharaj, that Krishna, our Gopal, that he's going to Kurukshetra. Now, 70 years had passed. When Krishna left Vrindavan, Krishna had told the Brijbasis that I'll come back. After 3 days, I'll come back. How it happened? Very touching situation. That Krishna, he had killed so many demons which were sent by Kamsa, his uncle. And then Kamsa thought, I cannot kill this boy, so I'll take him out of Vrindavan, I'll bring him to Mathura. This is when Krishna was still living in Vrindavan. I'll bring him to Mathura, and there I'll arrange a big wrestling match, and I'll have him killed by 2 wrestlers, Chanura and Mushtik. And if not, I have one elephant called Kuvilya Pidad, and he'll kill. But somewhere or other, I have to kill Krishna and Balaram. So he sent a messenger, Akrura. Akrura went to Vrindavan. He went as a messenger of this evil person Kamsa, but he was actually a devotee of Krishna. And when he was going on his chariot, he was thinking that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He knows my heart. That even though I'm coming as a messenger of this evil person, he really knows what is my heart. And definitely, he'll reciprocate. When Akrura got to the house of Nanda Maharaj, then he went and took Krishna and Balaram in a private place, and he told them that actually Vasudeva and Devaki, he told them that those are your actual parents. And they've been imprisoned by your uncle Kamsa, who is so evil. And he may kill them at any time. So you have to go to Vrindavan, to Mathura, and you have to save your parents. They made an excuse that there will be a big festival and that they were going to go and pay their taxes to Kamsa. So Krishna, he went to his father and he said, "Oh Baba, there's a big festival in Mathura, so we should go and take our butter and yogurt and so many things, and we should pay our taxes." Then his father went and spoke with his older brother Upananda, and they decided, yes, we'll go. But then in the evening time, when they were looking for Krishna, then Mother Yashoda, she said, "No, you're not taking my boy out of Vrindavan. He's not stepping 1 foot out. He will not go." And then she took her son and took him to one room and covered him with so many of her cloths and said, "You stay here, you hide here, and you don't come out." This is a very not often told pastime.
Very deep tattoo.
But Gurudev so much likes this pastime. So much likes it. I said, "Gurudev, sometimes I tell this pastime." He said, "Yeah, me also. I like this pastime." So I know it's okay. So, in the nighttime, all the residents of Vrindavan, they heard that Krishna and Balaram, they're going to leave tomorrow. The cowherd boys were very happy because they knew they would go with Krishna and they would see so many different pastimes. What would happen, they don't know, but definitely would be exciting. The elderly ladies were lamenting, how can Gopal leave? And the gopis, they became crazy. They were in a forest. And they were crying and crying and crying and crying. And they said, how can Mother Yashoda allow Nanda Baba to do this? That doesn't she know that when Krishna leaves, that he'll go and see the ladies of Mathura, and he'll completely forget us and he'll never come back. It said that the cowherd people, that they're so unintelligent, that usually somebody gets the intelligence when they're about 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. But cowherd people, they only get intelligence when they're 80 years of age. Said this is the proof. He has no intelligence. And they were crying like this all night. And then in the morning time, Okura went, took his bath, did his anik, and then he came to get Krishna and Balaram. They found Balaram, but they couldn't find Krishna. Then Nanda Baba, he went to his wife. He said, "Oh Yashoda, you give Gopal to me, and I promise you he won't be out of my sight. And I will bring him back after 3 days. I promise you he'll come back. Please, you bring him." So she went to the room where she hid him. She took his hand, brought him, and put his hand in the father's hand, and she walked away without saying a word. Then they went downstairs to where the chariot was with the horses that Akrura had come from Mathura, and Krishna and Balaram, they were sitting in the back. Nanda Baba was in one bullock cart, his brother Upananda, Abhinandan, Sunandan, and so many cowherd men and cowherd boys. And as the chariot was about to go, the gopis who were in the forest, and they never showed their love for Krishna in public. It was always hidden. People had an idea, but nobody could ever catch them. But now they ran out of the forest and they were crying, "Ha Govinda! Ha Govinda! Ha Govinda!" And the heat of separation in that love was so intense that they fainted in front of everybody. But that heat also covered the whole Vrindavan, and all the ladies fainted, all the men fainted, the cows, the horses, everybody fainted. Balaram, he fainted. Akrura, he fainted. And Krishna, he was also going out. And somehow he just caught himself. And then he got down from the chariot in a dazed state. And then he picked up some of the gopis who had fainted. And then he went into the forest. After some time, Akrura, he came to external consciousness and he saw all Vrindavan devastated. Immediately he reached back and woke Balaram. He said, "We have to go and get Krishna because Vasudeva and Devaki, his mother and father in Mathura, they can be killed at any moment. We have to get him." They went and followed Krishna's footprints to the edge of the forest grove, and they stopped. And then Akrura said, "Oh Krishna, you have to come right away. Your father and mother in Mathura, they may be killed at any moment." And he called to the gopis, "Oh, you have to let Krishna go. He has to come and save his father and mother." And the gopis called out, "Akrura, you're a liar. You say that Vasudeva and Devaki are the father and mother, but everybody knows his father and mother here in Vrindavan, Nanda Baba and Yashoda Maya. Vasudeva and Devaki are not his father. And you're very cruel, because if Krishna leaves, we'll all die. He's not coming out." And everybody was quiet. Then Krishna, he just looked at Akrura. Then Krishna, he came out of the forest. And he told Akrura, "We should go." Akrura immediately went and got the horses in chariot. He put Krishna and Balaram again on the chariot. And then now the gopis came out and they were just crying and crying. And all of Vrindavan was there and all were crying. And Akrura, he looked at Krishna and Krishna gave him the sign that they should go. And then as the chariot started to go, you maybe have seen some pictures. Some gopis are holding on to the chariot reins. Some throw themselves under the wheel. Some are holding on to the side of the chariot. Some are holding on to the horses. And Radharani fainted. Lalita fainted. Vishaka fainted. And then at that time, Akrura again looked, and then Krishna just meandered. Akrura meandered the chariot around the gopis who were laying on the ground. And as the chariot started to go, those gopis who were still conscious, they started to cry. And as they were crying, they're calling out, "Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Go means cows, senses, calves, the land of Vrindavans, the gopis, the gopas. Go means the totality of Vrindavan, actually. And Govinda, one who gives maintenance and protection. That you've always maintained and protected us. There are so many difficulties and you always took care of us. And now you're going to kill us by leaving like this? How can you do this? Damodar, one who's bound by the love and affection, rope of love and affection by his mother. Look at your mother now, crying. And who's bound by the love and affection of Radharani? Look at her, fainted. Will you leave her in this situation? And Madhava, the husband of the goddess of fortune. That you're bringing all good fortune to everybody. But will you leave us to be unfortunate, only us? And in this way, the chariot, it went, and some gopis, they followed. And Krishna, crying with his eyes, he also said, I will come back. I will come back. I will come back. And the chariot went and became smaller and smaller and smaller. And he went to Mathura, and from Mathura, then he went to Dwarka. There, Krishna, he is lamenting, crying. I explained just now how he's always crying for the residents of Vrindavan. And the residents of Vrindavan are always crying for him. But in Vrindavan, they have each other to pacify. But in Dwarka, his separation is hidden in his heart. He can't reveal it to anybody. He can't communicate with anybody. He cannot exchange with anybody. So it's just there, burning and burning and burning and burning. And he's suffering and suffering and suffering. And in this way, 10 years passed, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, more than 70 years passed. And Krishna never went. Then they had the solar eclipse. So when everybody was going there to Kurukshetra, then Nanda Baba said, we will also go. And then they decided to take all their butter, yogurt, so many milk preparations. And then the gopis, then they also decided that we'll go. But then they thought, 70 years have passed and we've been crying. We haven't cleaned anything in Vrindavan. Everything is completely in such a state. So they thought, before we go, we'll clean all the forest groves where we used to meet with Krishna and make everything very nice. Because when we go there, we're going to bring Krishna back. And this is called Gundicha Mandir Majanam. Cleansing the Gundicha temple. Before the Rath Yatra starts, then the day before, in the temple where they're going to take Jagannath, they clean. They have a big cleaning session. And that cleaning session, it actually symbolizes that before we bring Krishna into our hearts, we have to cleanse the heart. That the heart has to be completely clean. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with all his associates, they would get water from a nearby lake. Ah, there you go, Indradumna Sarovar. And with water pots, they would bring water. And another kirtan? I don't know. You like kirtan more than African people. Hey, amazing. So they will bring, I like it, huh? England, very dull, very dull. They will bring water pots. And they would not say, hey, pass the water pot. They go, Haribo, Haribo! Haribo! Haribo, Haribo! Bolo, bolo, Haribo! Haribo, Haribo! And in this way, the temple, marble temple, they throw the water and then they start scrubbing. First they clean outside the temple with the water. But they had brooms and they cleaned all the rocks and all the big pieces. Then they went inside the temple and also started to clean. The meaning is that within the heart there's so many gross desires and that they have to be cleansed out. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he showed such a beautiful way to cleanse. How? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Can you tell your neighbors we stop kirtan? No. You can understand. So, means that these gross things, they have to be removed. And then the subtle, what are the unwanted things within the heart? It's too technical, huh? No need too much technicalities. Okay. So, just cleaning the anger, the greed, the envy, cleaning out all these things. But then, after all that had been cleaned, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went on the altar. And then he took this cloth, his uttariya. And then he took water. And then there were like streaks. And then he started to clean himself and clean and clean and clean. And he cleaned that altar became like a most reflective mirror by which you could see the face. He also had a competition that everybody should take all the rocks and dirt that they had cleaned and they put in a pile. And those people who had, and this represents all the dirt within the heart. And it's cleansed by chanting, actually, by chanting, and by Guru Seva. So, when people had cleaned a lot, he said, oh, very good. And then some people were taking it easy, and they had very little. And they, oh, you've done so much, very good, very good. And with sarcasm, he was joking around. But when they put all of the rocks and dirt of all the devotees together, Mahaprabhu by himself, he had cleaned more than everybody. So then, the streaks on the altar, then this represents subtle things. Desire for name, fame, prestige. La puja pratishtha. It's stated that even when the gross things are gone, then this desire for name, fame, prestige, this is very, very subtle. And from this, the other desires, they come. It says that even when one reaches to the stage of bhav, the first stage of prem, that these things, pratishtha, desire for name, fame, distinction, is still there. So even that person, topmost level, still, that desire is still there. So that's why he went and he just cleaned and cleaned and cleaned and cleaned and cleaned, and then it became complete. And this means Tomara, Hridaya Sada, Govinda Visham, Govinda Kohena Mo Vaishnav Paran. That, oh Vaishnav, Tomara Hridaya, your heart, that Krishna, now he comes and he rests very peacefully and blissfully in the lotus of your heart. This is Gundicha Marjan. Okay? But now the gopis, they're doing another Gundicha Marjan. They're cleaning everything in the groves of Vrindavan so that when they bring Krishna. So now, finally, what time am I finishing?
9:30, 9:45.
Okay. So now, when Krishna, he arrives in Kurukshetra, and there's so many kings, so many queens, horses, chariots, elephants, and different people, family members, they're meeting after not having seen for years. Kunti, she was meeting with her brother Vasudeva, and she said, where were you when I was undergoing so much hardship with my 5 sons? And Vasudeva said, I'm sorry, but I was also having so much hardship. This is providence. And then as they were all talking, then somebody came and told Krishna Balaram, Nanda Baba, Yashoda Maya, the Brijbasis have come. As soon as Krishna heard the word Nanda Baba, Mother Yashoda, though he was over 80 years of age, but Krishna, he always looked 16. Never Kishore. He was 80 years, grandchildren, but he never aged past this. Because his body is transcendental. This is God. Symptoms of God. Never ages. And also, he performs superhuman activities that cannot be duplicated. Like being able to manifest 16,000, 18,000 forms simultaneously. So, Krishna now, he just got up like a little 8-year-old boy. And he just ran outside the big pandal tent. And then he saw his mother and father on the chariot. And he goes, hey Maya, hey Maya, hey Maya. And then Baladeva, he was also running, hey Maya, hey Maya, Baba, hey Baba, hey Baba. And then Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, they got down from the chariot. And Krishna, he ran onto the lap of his mother. And Baladeva dove at the feet of his father. And then, now Mother Yashoda, she just drenched Krishna with her tears. And just as when Krishna was a little boy, she used to feed breast milk and cover him, Krishna was just sobbing, and she just covered him. There's an 80-year-old king of the world with grandchildren, and he's just sobbing like an 8-year-old boy. And Baladeva was picked up by his father, and he was also sobbing on the lap. And now so many people came out, and they were seeing this scene. And also Krishna's mother, Devaki, from Mathura, she was seeing. And she was thinking, he's actually my son. But he never calls me, no, he's my son, but he never treated me like this. Never treated me like this. And she started to get worried. She thought, Mother Yashoda will take him back to Vrindavan. But Mother Yashoda and Krishna, there was so much in this embrace that they were oblivious to everything around them. But Devaki, she said, that, oh Yashoda, that I really appreciate how you took care of my son. That when he had no shelter, you gave him shelter, you took care of him, you protected him just like the eyelid protects the pupil. And I am so grateful that you took care of my son. And she was trying to impress that this is my son. But Mother Yashoda and Krishna, they weren't hearing anything. And then Mother Rohini, who was seeing what was happening, that Devaki was trying to break up the situation, then she said, oh Devaki, there's some more people waiting for us over there. Let's go with everybody. And just escorted her. But Mother Yashoda, she was thinking that, oh, that the gopis, that they're behind. And their suffering is so much. It's explained that when the gopis were in Vrindavan, that their mood of separation was so intense that they were not eating, they were not sleeping, that Radharani's bangle, her ring that she put on her little pinky, that she became so small that could go as a bangle on her wrist. Srila Govinda Maharaj explained that. That it is not explained that the situation was so intense. But when they left and they were coming down to Dwarka, that anticipation of meeting increased their separation mood. And it was burning and burning and burning. And when they finally got there and Krishna was just within their sight, then that separation mood reached its highest peak. And they were just standing stunned. Mother Yashoda, understanding the situation, she took Baladeva by the hand and she asked Nanda Baba that we should go and see some other people, and took him away. And then Krishna, he went to the gopis and he said, hey Yashoda, hey Radhe, but Radharani was just standing motionless without saying a word. Hey Lalite, hey Vishake, nobody was saying a word. He said, do you think I forgot you? Not a word. He said, actually, I was always with you. Don't you know? They say that I'm the Supreme Lord. Just like the Super Soul is always with the living entity, I was always with you. Not a word. Said that just as great sages, they meditate on the Lord within the heart, you should know I'm always there. The gopis didn't speak, but with their eyes and with the heat of coming from their heart, they said to Krishna that, why are you comparing us to yogis? Yogis are meditating and performing austerities to get a glimpse of your lotus feet. We have known those lotus feet since we were 2 years old. In fact, we used to put those lotus feet on our breast, and we want to forget those lotus feet, but we can't. This is our situation. So why are you comparing us to lotus feet? Then they said, Krishna, that you have come, you are like Just as Lord Brahma, he's come from a lotus, and the lotus stem is inert, your mind is inert. And just as the lotus stem is coming from mud, your mind is filled with mud. How can you say so many things? Gurudev, this book is so amazing. So how can you compare us to yogis? So we want to forget you, but we can't. Then Krishna becomes stunned. He does not know what to say. And then the gopis tell him, Krishna, we know that you are not happy here. That really, you can only be happy in Vrindavan. Because they know that when Krishna was a small boy, Krishna actually is very shy. He's a very shy boy. And when he'd be hungry, he wouldn't tell. But Mother Yashoda would know. And she'd say, hey Gopal, if you don't eat, then you won't be strong like Baladeva. Don't you see how Baladev's shika is very thick and yours is very thin? This is because you're not eating. And then Krishna said, oh, I want to be strong like Baladeva. So then you eat. And many tricks they would use to make Krishna eat. And they know that in Dwarka, they don't know Krishna. They don't know the idiosyncrasies of Krishna. They don't know how, and what to speak of that, they cannot cook like Mother Yashoda. They cannot cook like Radharani. So you're not happy here. You're surrounded by all these queens, by all these horses, all this paraphernalia. But we know you're not happy here. That you can only be happy. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was singing. He's in that mood. That's where I was going. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in that mood of the gopis, now meeting Krishna. That Jagannath, he's meeting Krishna in Kurukshetra, and he's saying that, oh, I'm meeting you, you're the same person, but I want to take you back to the banks of the Reva River. That Reva River represents the Yamuna. And I want to take you in the grove where there are cane trees. The cane trees represent the Kadamba forest and the banks of the Yamuna. But cane, it has a special property in that if there's a hurricane, the cane will not come out. If there's a windstorm, cane will not come out. So no matter what disturbances, no matter what obstacles were there for our meeting in Vrindavan, the parents, the in-laws, the society rules, dead at night, that like Cain, we were not broken. We would always meet. I want to meet you there, like this, in the Yamuna, where the moon is shining, and we're uninhibited, despite all the different ones. And in this way, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was pulling the card and saying, Jaya Jaga 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 Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath. The gopis, Radharani, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's telling Krishna that, oh Krishna, you should know that my heart and Vrindavan is one. And my heart and my mind one. So my heart is Vrindavan. And you will only be happy in Vrindavan. So please you come on the chariot of my heart and let me take you back to Vrindavan. That you are in this land of opulence, of Aishwarya, but you only love the land of sweetness of Madhurya. So, Jagannath, oh Krishna, whether anybody likes it or not, we are taking you back to Vrindavan. We're kidnapping you back home. And this way, they take Jagannath to Gundicha temple. This is Jagannath Rath Yatra festival. Shri Jagannath Rath Yatra Maha Mahotsava ki. Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Ju ki. Anything? What, I missed something?
Maharaj,
Huh?
can you tell us a little past time with Govinda Maharaj talking about Radha?
Talking about?
Loyana.
Tuesday.
Question?
Yeah, questions.
Yeah.
I should finish here, right?
Well, we have to
Or should I tell the next pastime?
We have to offer.
You haven't offered yet.
Yeah, so we need at least 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So we can talk, no problem.
Okay, we do. Okay, questions and more questions.
Question now?
Yeah.
Okay, I have one question. It is said that one goes to the place where more love is felt.
Yeah.
Where you feel more affection, that's the place to go and just stay.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that there's no place in the universe like Vrindavan in terms of love and affection.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Krishna. All the living entities, the birds, the deer, the trees, the Nanda Baba, Yasoda Maya, the cover boys, the calves. What to speak of the gopis, the most elevated love of the world.
Yeah.
So why then, if Krishna, he knows that he feels most affection there, why then he go to Mathura and Dwarka, leaving that wonderful realm of Vrindavan?
Different reasons are there. One reason is that Krishna, when he left Vrindavan, then he killed one demon, Shishupal. So many demons, they were trying to kill Krishna. So now Krishna, he stayed in Dwarka because he thought that if he went back to Vrindavan, then the demons, they will create so much disturbance. That's one reason. He wanted to keep the Brijbasis safe and peaceful. Another reason is that Krishna, he told the gopis, and the gopis were not appreciative, but he told them that I have left because I want to show the glory of your love. That when people, they see the glory of your love in separation, then they will understand how by cultivating a mood of yearning, eagerness to love Krishna, then that love will come. And actually for us, then that mood is very important. Ai nanda tanuja kinkaram patikamam vishame babam buddho. That, oh Krishna, I am your child. But because of my karmic activities in past lives, I've fallen into this ocean of material existence. And I'm being bitten by so many crocodiles. What are the crocodiles? Lust, anger, greed, envy, illusion, madness. And they're biting me and biting me and biting me and biting me, birth after birth after birth. And in illusion, sometimes I think it's nice, but then after some time, I come to reality and I feel the actual situation. So please, oh Krishna, you pick me up as your own and place me as a particle